Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here bringing you another EX Plus analysis video. It's already been 4 days since my last upload. Crazy how time goes by, right? In the video's description you can find the playlist of my previous EX Plus analysis videos and the playlist of my tier list videos starting from January 2020, with the next one coming probably this week. For this video I'll talk about Lenna and Seifer. At the end of the analysis there's going to be a should you pull section giving you my recommendation on pulling or not. I'm going to go over their strengths and weaknesses as well as which artifacts you should be aiming for. Finally, we'll see together if they are worth investing and how much you should invest in them. Before we begin, I want to remind you that these are just my opinions. You should always do some research on your own before deciding on things, and hopefully this video will help you on that. So let's begin. We're starting off this video with Lenna because most of you are probably already familiar with her kit and what she does. Lenna was considered one of the top mid-Cosmos units because at the time she provided something that no other unit did, 100% debuff immunity. Due to that mechanic, she continued seeing some use in chaos stages with mild success. She returns shortly with her EX realization and a rework for her kit. Okay, first of all, Lenna is a very deceptive unit. Even me, when I was researching for this video, I kept thinking to myself, this character is just too good, except for her new HP plus being average, which by the way is an exact copy of Rosa's HP plus attack. But then I took a closer look at her skill count that is arguably a bit low for a character that has no free skills or a really good HP plus attack. Finally, while discussing it with Ingwelder from the Tomberry troop, shoutouts to him and his group members, he was like, Amma, you need to wake the fuck up and see what's in front of you. Lenna provides 100% debuff evasion, sure, but that's provided by a group of characters right now, and her party auras are very weak for chaos standards. So I took a closer look and I did not like what I saw. She provides a total of 40% attack, Max BRV and initial brave to the party, which is the same amount she was providing in Cosmos. The only difference is the additional 20% party overflow she gets from her EX+. Those aura values are not the greatest, right? So yeah, that's my 2 cents on Lenna's flaws. Moving on to the good stuff, Lenna becomes a great shaver with her rework. She has a great party utility through her healing and brave regen, her multiple sources of battery, and the debuff evasion we mentioned earlier. Her EX Plus now hits like a truck with a total of 270% overflow if we do not count her character boards, which we are not sure she will get immediately. Her initial brave debuff potency is based on the amount of brave hits the target receives, and it can go up to a huge 90% on a single target fight, which means that the boss won't be looking as dangerous with that debuff on. Recommended artifacts for Lenna are 170 initial brave and then either 1 weight attack or 330 max brave. I will personally go for 2 max brave and 1 attack artifacts because she will probably leak a lot of brave due to her batteries and multiple brave hits. Now let's see if she's worth investing in or not. If Lenna is one of your waifus, then by all means go ahead and max her out. If not though, then that's when it gets more complicated. Like I said earlier, arguably her biggest asset is her debuff immunity she provides to the party, something that is not that uncommon nowadays. More accurately, we have Selfie who gives a 70% chance to avoid debuffs but is still pretty solid, Ignis with his versatile playstyle, and Afmo who returns in a month and will blow everyone out of the water. That said though, debuff immunity is a very strong thing to have for a multiple of dimensions and stages, and just having only one support that provides that will not be optimal for you. So for that reason, I think this character definitely deserves some kind of investment if you manage to get your hands on her EX. Keep in mind that you will most likely want to pair Lenna with another support or an aura bot unit to compensate for her average auras, so if you are into that kind of team building, so then go for it. Now let's see how much you should invest in her if you decide to do so. Thankfully, Lenna's EX Plus upgrades are pretty easy to present, cause I didn't want to get into another Ramza clusterfuck like I did last time. Giving a book to her increases the AoE Brave hits on her EX skill from 2 to 6, slightly increases its potency and its overflow by an additional 30%, which makes it 150% in total. Pretty straightforward upgrade if you ask me. This is where I would stop if I wanted to place Lenna in a Dimensions End stage that requires debuff protection. Moving on to the 1 ingot investment, this increases Lenna's attack and max brave by 60%. This is honestly a pretty substantial increase for Lenna because she really needs that stat boost to keep up with chaos. Investing 2 ingots in Lenna adds a 20% party overflow to her EX buff and allows her to begin the stage with that buff and her 2 generic buffs. Lenna's first turn on any stage will be free with 0 action delay, and the skill she casts on that turn will also be free, so she basically gets the Onion Knight treatment here. Lastly, her EX skill now increases the duration of her EX buff by 4 turns. This is, in my opinion, an amazing upgrade for Lenna, helping with her longevity a bit and also adding a bit more to her party utility through some overflow. As you all should know by now though, I would advise against any investment that stops at 2 ingots because it's like taking a character halfway and stopping. This is an awful feeling, not to mention a waste of your resources. Finally, going down to the 3 ingots, the EX battery is given a 150% overflow, the potency is increased tremendously, and the Stolen Brave can overflow by an additional 100%, giving Lenna's EX a total of 250% overflow without considering outside sources. Her EX now will also heal the party based on 80% of the HP damage it deals, but with a limit of 20% of each unit's maximum HP. She also gains access to her HP plus attack, which, like I said earlier, is an exact copy of Rosa's. This final upgrade helps Lenna's longevity by giving her one more option on how to spend her turns, and her EX damage is brought up to date with Chaos standards, so she can carry her own weight in terms of damage. And this brings the Lenna analysis to an end. Let's see what Seifer has in store for us. I was really a fan of Seifer's kit last year during his level 60 awakening, and especially his unique HP plus attack at the time. His rework and brand new EX are basically capitalizing on his strengths, but unfortunately are not fixing his biggest problems. What do I mean by that? Seifer remains a pure AoE damage dealer / debuffer, which means that his damage will fall off during single target fights or when his targets are immune to debuffs. Speaking of his generic debuffs, their potency is not high enough to be able to call Seifer a strong debuffer unit. Last but not least, he still cannot imperil the wind element, which means his first skill will be far worse in wind resistant stages. First, I want to go over his brand new EX and how it is in its base form. It's a 6-hit AoE Brave plus single target HP attack that deals 50% splash damage with 120% overflow. The Brave potency is increased against debuffed enemies, and it inflicts the unique debuff called Scars of Destruction to all enemies for 1 turn. This debuff reduces speed and also reduces all Brave damage dealt by your enemies to 0, making them unable to break you or steal Brave from you. Seifer also gains the unique buff called Young Revolutionary, which increases his attack and the Brave damage he does based on how many debuffs are present on your target. As a bonus, it also increases the duration of all existing buffs on Seifer. You will find a simple written overview of his EX weapon without any EX plus upgrades in this video's description. I want to close this Seifer section by saying that he really shines in multi-target fights with constant AoE and splash damage. especially with his new HP++, which in my opinion is only second to Arenea's HP attack in multi-target fights. Recommended artifacts for Seifer are 330 Max Brave and 108 attack, with his unruly super senior boost being a consolation prize. Personally, I prioritize Max Brave over attack for Seifer because his multi-hit skills will almost always cap his overflow limit against 2 or 3 enemies. Now let's see if Seifer is worth investing in or not. If Seifer is one of your favorite units, then by all means go ahead and max him out. Favorites over meta, like I always say. Seifer is a strong ranged AoE DPS with a weak side role as a debuffer in my opinion. His EX debuff can help you cheese some really hard situations, like completely avoiding the damage from a boss recast skill, but it's only for one turn, which doesn't make it that reliable. If you are missing strong ranged DPS units like Fran or Aranea, then I would definitely recommend on investing in Seifer, but if you are covered in that department, then you can safely skip the investment of this unit. Now let's see how much you should invest in him if you decide to do so. Seifer's EX Plus upgrades are also quite simple, so this will be a breeze. Giving a book to Seifer slightly increases the overflow limit of his EX and tremendously increases its potency. A pretty basic, pretty boring, and I'm sure Square Enix could have done better here. Investing 1 ingot in Seifer moderately increases his attack and Max Brave, and that's all. If you give 2 ingots to him, he begins the stage with his Max Brave and his Sorcerer's Night buff. His EX is also charged from the start of the stage, which means Seifer gains access to his HP++ attack once you use his EX at the start. Finally, if you invest 3 ingots in Seifer, his EX changes to a 5-hit AoE attack plus single target HP attack executed twice, and the potency is also tremendously increased once again. Seifer also gains access to his Brave and HP++ attacks, the latter being a very strong filler in multi-target fights. So in conclusion, if you just want to use Seifer once in a Dimensions End stage and then never use him again, I would just use him with his base EX weapon. But if you want to keep using him in Chaos stages further, then you will need to max his weapon out for that tremendous damage increase at 3 out of 3. And that was it for Seifer. Now let's see if you should pull or not. After everything we've said about Lenna and Seifer, what do you think? Should you pull for either or both of them? Let me know in the comments below. This is a high value banner in my opinion, especially if you are also missing Lenna's EX weapon, which is not new. If you already have Lenna's weapon, however, I would not recommend pulling on this banner even with tickets, unless Seifer is one of your favorite units. If you want to pull for both of these units, I would say just set a ticket budget for yourself and go for it. If you are a new player with not many units in your roster, then I would definitely recommend pulling on this banner because both units are pretty solid options with a very straightforward gameplay. Me personally, I'll completely skip this banner because I want to save my tickets and gems for the upcoming summer, and we all know how many strong units are coming in the upcoming months. And that was it. I hope you stuck with me until the end and that you enjoyed watching or listening to this video. Don't forget to drop a like and also consider subscribing if you like my content. If you have any suggestions of things you want me to cover, I would very much like to hear about them. Also, if you think I forgot to mention anything, let me know about that as well. Take care guys, and I'll see you in my next video. See ya!